Hi everyone, Mi-joo here, and I'm back for another Korean drama run-on commentary. This is episode 13. Let's get right into it. So we're back to the conversation between Mi-joo and Seon-gyeom at the beginning of this episode. And now we know why Mi-joo was acting the way that she did before. And she says here, it was my instinct to run away. Based on all the relationships she's had before, this is the first thing she thinks about. You know what? I'm gonna get hurt. I'm just gonna go. That's her first instinct. She runs away first. And she says that it's not really Seon-gyeom, it's an external factor, which is dad. And that's something that's gonna be hard for her to endure. If it was just her and Seon-gyeom, it would be fine, they can talk about it, but it's dad, and he's someone that Mi-joo can't really control. I can't blame Mi-joo for acting this way. I totally understand. But then it also means that she's giving something up so easily. Maybe in the past it was fine because the relationships she's had, they're not as deep as the one that she has now with Seon-gyeom. So it's just kind of sad that she's already backing away when we all know that Seon-gyeom deserves more than this. And here, Seon-gyeom says, do you want to break up? It's very interesting how he actually understands it really fast this time, when usually he's the one who's the slower pace. And I would use the phrase 눈치 빠르다 here. They would usually translate it to you've got a lot of sense. But it's more you get it right away. You feel out someone really fast. Even if they're lying, you get it. And that's what Seon-gyeom was doing here. He knew right away that's what she meant. But he also says, I deserve more than this. You could have said it first, which is really on Mi-joo. That was kind of rude. To Seon-gyeom for her to do that he was the one asking about it. And the thing is, they actually did a zoom in to Mi-joo's hands, and she was going like this, when you did something wrong, you have your hands lower, but you're just anxious. And she was doing that. She knew she was doing something wrong. And like I said last episode, they didn't have to do this today. Seon-gyeom says, you could have slept on it. I think the Korean part there said, 오늘이 아니면 됐던 거잖아. It didn't have to be today. We could have done this tomorrow when our emotions are not as high as they are today. I totally agree. The next day, they would have been calmer, and Mi-joo wouldn't have said the things that she said. Seon-gyeom wouldn't have said the things that he said, because they would have slept on it, had time to think about it. Im Si-won is just a really good actor. You can see the restraint. He's trying to think about the words that he's saying so that he doesn't make a mistake. He doesn't say something bad that he didn't mean. Same for Shin Se-kyung. She's doing a really good job here. I can feel both of their emotions. I get it. I get it where they're coming from, but it's just so hard. I want them together. This one, I knew this was gonna come back when Seon-gyeom gave her shoes, because I usually, especially in dramas, they say oh, don't give your special someone shoes because they're gonna run away. And there she is. Mi-joo now wants to break up with him after he gave her shoes. I don't know what it is for different cultures, but in Filipino culture, when you give someone shoes, they have to give you money, even just coins, just say $1 or something, so that it seems you're not giving it as a gift, they're buying it off of you so that they won't run away, kind of thing. I don't know what it's for other countries. Let me know if it's a little bit different or if it's the same. Yes, now we know why Ryan, like I just always thought that Ryan, Eunbi's boyfriend, or like we thought like someone that Eunbi likes, he's always running away. And I thought that she was just crazy and she keeps like following him when he doesn't even like her. But now it makes more sense. I can't believe I didn't think about this before, but dad was doing the same thing to Ryan that he did to Mi-joo, like just chasing away the guy. Probably he thinks that Ryan wasn't good enough for his daughter. But the thing is, Eunbi knows how much Ryan loves her and that he's running away because of that. Like, he's thinking about her so that she won't get hurt. And she just keeps following him. I wonder if we're gonna actually see Ryan here. Imagine if it was a cameo by Kim Jae-wook and he's Ryan Gold. Oh, but then there's Park Min-young, so I guess not. Imagine if the cameo was Lee Min-ho, like Lee Do-hyun. Just randomly saying the people I like. And this one, she says, do you think that I don't deserve to be with Seon-gyeom? In Korean, she says, 프로님은 제가 기선겸 씨한테 내는 게 욕심이라고 생각 안 하세요? Don't you think that I'm just being greedy when I try to be with Seon-gyeom? Keyword here is 욕심, which is greed. So she's already thinking to herself that it's she doesn't deserve to be with Seon-gyeom. Like, she's just being greedy by being with him. That Seon-gyeom is someone that she can live without, but she, like, technically he's just a want, not a need. And it's nice that she's talking to Eunbi about this, because Eunbi is technically going through the same thing, just reverse with Ryan. Oh, poor Seon-gyeom. He's just not himself right now. Like, he woke up, his alarm is ringing for him to run, but he didn't go running. And it's actually cool because he was thinking back to when Mi-joo was telling him, you know, on the weekends you can rest. Like, you don't have to overcome things. You don't have to keep working hard. Maybe a day or two you can actually rest. And right now he's doing that. He's not running, which is totally not Seon-gyeom. He's Seon-gyeom because he runs, kind of thing. And he's not running, but Mi-joo is running. This girl, just respect for this girl. She's going through so much and she still has the energy to go running. So here Young-hwa was looking up Dana and he realized that everyone in the family, well, the men in the family, they all have the character Myung. So grandpa's name is Seo Myung-chol. Dad's name is Seo Myung-pil. And her brother's name is Seo Myung-min. So they all have the character Myung. Usually, like, for family, they have like the same character. Like, say Ye-jun and Ye-chan, they're brother sister, and they have the character Ye both in their names. But Dana doesn't have that. I mean, if I was Dana, I would be kind of mad. Even Myung-min, who's not, like, he's an illegitimate child, has the Myung. It's so annoying. I hate it when, like, parents play favorites. Like, why can't you just love your kids all the same way? Seon-gyeom's having a hard time here. He's thinking of all the possibilities. Like, did I do this when we were together? Did I make her feel bad? Could I have done this better? Like, it's just so funny. But it's nice that he's voicing it out. And Young was here for him. I told you, these guys, they only need friends, like, for real. I like this part when Mi-joo and Mei were cooking and Mi-joo says, "언니, I kind of get it now why you cook, because you're not thinking of anything when you do it. Like, you're cutting, you know, you're boiling stuff. You're only thinking of this, like the food that you're making at the moment, and not of all the other things that makes your brain hurt. I don't cook. I just can't, like, maybe I've just never tried it, but I don't cook. I bake a lot, and it's kind of like very healing for me. Like on the weekends, I would just make like muffins or bread or whatever. And it's true, like you don't think of any other things, like the stressors, you don't think about them. You're just happy to be doing something. Except if you're making macarons, like those things give me so much stress. It's insane. Like, oh, macarons. But if you make them really well, they're super good. But like 9 out of 10 times that you make, at least I make them, it's just not good. Oh my goodness. Dana was looking for valet parking, and Younghwa thought she was saying like ballet, and like, what are you talking about? There's this gap. I'm kind of worried because, well, he's kind of I think 6 or 7 years younger than her. No, wait, I can't math right now, but he's a lot younger than her. She, I would say, is she had more schooling and would know more things. Especially she's like super rich. Like she's technically living in a different world. So I wonder if that's going to be a problem for them. It's actually the same for Mi-joo and Seon-gyeom. Like how Seon-gyeom was technically born rich, and Mi-joo was an orphan. Like she didn't have a lot of things. So usually in dramas, you know, like that's a big thing that you see right away. Like that's going to be a problem. But here, like I don't really see that. Like the arguments that they have, like the fights that they have, it's not really about like that gap. But I wonder, I mean, we only have 3 episodes left. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. But you never know. You never know. Might hit us like the white truck of doom. It lasts longer because it's invisible. That's so beautiful. It reminds me of The Little Prince. That book, I really recommend it if you haven't read it, The Little Prince. What's interesting about it is that, at least for me, every time I read it, like at different times, it feels different. Like when you read it like as a teen, and like I guess you would relate more to The Little Prince than you would for the adult characters. But like when I read it in college, I kind of understood like why the adults were doing that. And then as an adult, like I kind of relate to them more. Like it's very different. Like every time I read it, I think I've read it like 4 or 5 times. It's a different feeling. I think I'm due for another reread. But yeah, if you haven't read it, it's such a beautiful story. Give it a go. And it's actually nice that Dana is actually trying different things, like things that she's never done before, like eating rice burger, just so she could understand Younghwa a little bit more. Well, like earlier I just said that I was kind of worried about that gap between them, like different worlds. But it seems like both are trying to understand each other. So yeah, maybe it won't be a problem at all. And I like something that Younghwa says here. 나중을 왜 생각해? 당장 1시간 뒤도 모르는데. Why should I worry about the future when I don't even know what's going to happen in an hour? Like, that's a really cool mindset. I wish I could do that, but I overthink so much. That's so Younghwa. That's the way he acts. But I guess for Dana, who runs a company and has so much more responsibilities than Younghwa, it's a little bit hard to understand. Here, Young-gil says, if I run faster, those trying to beat me will run faster too. I think that's the sad part about being on top, because Young-gil has always been like the champion, right? He's always the first place. It's hard because you know all these people are trying to get to your spot, and like you technically have nowhere to go because you're in the top. So you can only go down from there. And especially now that Seon-gyeom isn't there to be his rival, I guess he's losing a lot of the motivation that he had before. At one point, he got to let go of it too. But getting there would be hard, especially if the person who defeats you is like a lot younger than you. I mean, like it makes sense because like their muscles, like they're young, you know, they would have more stamina than you. But then it's kind of like, is this the end for me kind of thing? Just reminds me of Oikawa in Haikyu and how he's technically the better player, but he's insecure about Kageyama being the younger guy who's a genius who would most likely catch up to him very soon. I love how Mi-joo went to Dana because she didn't understand why Seon-gyeom's dad was acting that way, and she thought that, you know what, Dana would get it because she's like in the same level. Like they're both rich and they do like these like bribing things and all that stuff. It's just so cute because Dana was doing the same. She can't understand why Younghwa does the things that he does. And so she goes to Mi-joo to get that because to her, Mi-joo and Younghwa are the same level. And Jung Sil-jang, he's already just friendly with Mi-joo. It's probably the cat or like the snacks that she brought like the other day. He's so cute. Like Dana was getting mad, like just like don't let people in. He goes like, can I get you a drink? Tea or coffee? He's so cute. He probably gets it that Mi-joo is and will be a good influence to Dana and would be like a nice friend to have. This was a nice glimpse into Yuk-joo as a character because how the show presented her was that she's a very well-known actor. She's really good at what she does. Like she goes to like international film festivals and all that and wins awards. So I always thought like, you know, she's top and she doesn't have to do much. But here she's like, you know what? Like the director is looking at us. Let's go and slice the rest up. Like to work hard more. And it's nice to see that because even though she's already top in the industry, she's, instead of being more relaxed, she still works hard. But I guess that kind of makes sense because you have like these younger actors who, you know, might get your spot if you're being too lax. Which goes back to like how Young-gil feels about being on top and like all these younger ones trying to be faster than him. And it's kind of scary. So she's probably going through that as well. And we've confirmed it. Yejun does like Younghwa. And this scene was very tense. Like Dana is so good at provoking people. But I just don't like the background music that they use for Yejun whenever this happens. It sounds so ominous, like I feel like he's gonna do something bad. And I don't want him to be like the bad guy. Like I get it if he was like gonna be upset or, you know, be a little mean. But the music that they put in, it's just like serial killer level kind of music. And I don't want it. And the way he acts too, it's like so grim and yeah. I hope he doesn't go that way. I also love how Dana is actually treating Yejun as a rival. Like, you know, like I have everything, but you're still his best friend. You might be able to take him away from me. And like, I mean, if I was Yejun, I would take that as a compliment. Like she's scared, or at least bothered by him liking Younghwa. I love how Mi-joo is always so quick to apologize. She realizes her mistakes really fast and then she acts on it. Oftentimes we would be scared to accept our mistakes, like to acknowledge that and to say sorry right away. But she does it. Like here, she upset May by what she said and she walked away. But like maybe 3 to 5 seconds later, she went back and she said sorry to May. And she says, my frustration got the best of me. That's really hard to acknowledge because we always have this pride, like, I'm always right kind of thing. Here they were talking about Mi-joo's past relationships. And May says, you and your shitty ex-boyfriends. What she said in Korean was, 너 통차 콜렉터였지. So 통차, I like those like really bad, worn out kind of cars that don't even work. Think of Rebecca Lee-kyung's car in Waikiki. That's a 통차. Okay, like a really bad car. And they usually say that expression, like 통차 collector. So you collect like really bad cars. For when they say like you have really bad ex-boyfriends. Or maybe ex-friends as well. So you collect like these bad crops, technically. Poor Seon-gyeom. He actually went to a movie theater to watch a movie, and it's a foreign film. And he also waited until the end of the credits to see that subtitle, like the person who translated the movie, because he did the same thing when he was with Mi-joo. This scene reminded me of that scene in Signal when Jo Jin-woong was crying by himself. Like everyone was laughing just like this, and he's the only one crying. Not gonna spoil what it was in case you haven't seen Signal yet. And if you haven't, why? What are you doing? Go watch it. Go watch Signal now, right now. Eunbi finally exploding. I'm surprised that Eunbi has always been like calm with all the things she's been going through with like dad and Seon-gyeom and Ryan and Dana and every stressor in her life. Like, I'm surprised she hasn't exploded until now. But yeah, she got Eeps. She's having troubles with her golfing. And she says like, I'm just so stressed out. What do you want me to do? Oh, poor Eunbi. But it's nice because her agency now, even though Dana acts like this, she really cares for her athletes, She even says like, why are you dieting? Like, why are you losing weight? First and foremost, you're an athlete more than you're a model. Like, you have to take care of yourself first. You have to be top so we can still keep having you as the model. Like, see, with the balloons, just hilarious. Like, I love it. Younghwa is just blindly doing all these things because he's so in love. And Yejun here, like, helping his friend, But they were talking about Dana and how Younghwa has finally reached the top of the tower because he mentioned her before, like she was Rapunzel. And of course, Younghwa probably doesn't know like the real story behind Rapunzel. And Younghwa says, do you know what happens in the end? And yes, the prince goes blind because he was climbing up the tower to see Rapunzel, but the witch made him fall. I'm pretty sure he fell down and he fell on thorns and that like pierced his eyes. That's why he got blinded. Hopefully they don't do that to Younghwa in this show, please. No, that's like Go Moon-young level kind of thing. Let's not make it happen here. And Yechan was here too. And she's also funny. You can see from this scene how close they all are. Like these three, they've grown together in the same neighborhood. They're childhood friends. And this kind of like level of comfortable, it's very hard to achieve. They were blowing up all these balloons because he wants to put them in the trunk of the car so that when it opens, it would all float. And Yejun's like, you need helium gas for that. Like, I didn't even realize that. But then he wasn't even upset. He's just like, oh, okay, I have to get helium gas now. This dude. And the acting overall was just so natural. Like the body gag, everything was perfect. Oh, Ye-jun asking his sister, do you like Yonghwa? Like, I don't want you to be my rival too. But I feel like Ye-chan actually knows. She did say before this that you should think about your own love life than Yonghwa's love life. I wonder. I mean, it's so obvious. We all know this. She probably does too. And she's just not saying. And poor Ye-chan, she got found out that she was doing boxing again. And mom is furious. Taeyongi! Yes, more Taeyong. Youngho's so mean. Like, he left all these comments, like pretending that he was an ex-girlfriend of Taeyong, and like, oh, Taeyong, babe, you shouldn't follow me now. Oh, he's so mean. Like, that's crazy for an idol to have in his comments. Like, that would drive all the fans crazy. I mean, even if it's not true, like, oh gosh, that's just really bad. I think like Taeyong is like super popular too. Oh, I can just imagine all the fans going crazy. Taeyong is so nice. He was worried like the fans would like be hurt by this, and like he's just too cute. Taeyong, don't worry. Like, dude, live your life. And then he calls Yonghwa kemasal again, like crab meat age, but they just translated it as unbelievable. But he did say kemasal. And Taeyong is pretty smart too. Like, he realized right away that Yonghwa was gonna throw a birthday party for Dana, and so he acted really fast. And there's this line that he always says to his leader. Like, the leader would say, "어디가?" as in, where are you going? Or literally, are you going somewhere? And then he would just say, "어디가?" Like the same thing, but with a period, like, I'm going somewhere. He doesn't say where. Because when you ask someone, 어디가? And then you would say, 학교 가. Like, I'm going to school. But he says, 어디가? Technically the same thing, but one's a question and one's an answer. This is a nice word to learn. So Yonghwa and Ye-chan were bickering, and the translation here just said, so does your face. And Ye-chan says, talk to the hand. But she says, 반사. 반사 is like reflect, to like reflect something. So it's like back at you. If somebody insults you and then you just say, 반사, reflect, back at you. Somebody calls you an idiot, you just go, 반사. And then when Taeyong got there, he said, are you doing this for Nuna? Calls Dana Nuna, which is older sister. And Yonghwa says, like, why are you calling her Nuna? I don't even call her Nuna. It would sound weird because it was translated as sister, which is literally what it is. But even though you're not related, you can call someone Nuna if she's older than you. But it's more of like a friendly nickname. And Yonghwa was just saying that I'm not even that close to her yet to call her Nuna, so why are you acting so friendly? But Taeyong meant like, she's actually my sister. That's why I'm calling her Nuna. And this whole scene is just perfect. I don't think I've seen anything like this, at least for a very long time. It was so dramatic with just Mi-joo and Seon-gyeom looking at each other, and then the music was for that mood, and then you have these people in the background just like hitting each other, grabbing and pushing, and just total comedy. And then they have like this melodramatic background music, and Seon-gyeom and Mi-joo staring at each other. Just so funny. Like, technically all the characters are here, and like even May came. Ye-chan's mom was there because she's mad about the boxing thing, and you know, like, they're all connected. And if this was another drama, it would seem like it was forced, but it makes sense why they're all here. And that's just so cool. Like even how this scene was shot, just amazing. Epicness, comedy at its finest. Oh gosh, like when May just touched like Mi-joo to kind of like surprise her. And like it doesn't make sense that a popper would go off right there because she just went like, ooh, to Mi-joo. But it's just so funny. All these like confetti coming down. It's just, oh gosh. I would say best scene of 2021. It's still pretty early, but it's gonna be hard to beat. And here, Taeyong tells Seonghwa about December 30th not being Dana's actual birthday. It was registered later so that Myungmin technically becomes the firstborn. That's why Dana wasn't very thrilled when Yeonghwa said that he's gonna throw a birthday party for her, because that's not really her birthday. And I appreciate Taeyong saying this to Yeonghwa. You can just see how much he cares about his sister. Taeyong is just so lovely. Like, how could anyone hate this guy? It's crazy. Like, Yeonghwa should be nicer to him. I actually think that Taeyong is older than Yeonghwa. Okay, and the whole story with Subin, like we've seen this in a lot of K-dramas before. Kids who don't have parents just get bullied, you know, and always made to be the perpetrators when technically they are the victims. It's just annoying because these kids who have parents feel like they're just so much more important than these orphans, and it's just so annoying. So I really appreciate Mi-joo doing all of this for Subin. When she said, when the lady asked, like, who are you? And she says, what? I'm her 언니. Like, I'm her older sister. And that probably meant so much to Subin because she's so used to being just by herself. Probably nobody protecting her. She's just taking all the bullying and like, you know what, it will pass kind of thing. And I was wondering if the reason why Mi-joo did this was because May did the same thing for her in the past. But I mean, we don't know a lot about Mi-joo's past, so. But yeah, just that one word that she said. Well, not one word, but that one sentence that she said, like, I'm her 언니, meant so much to Subin. And another thing that really annoys me is when adults just, when there's a problem in school, they always say like, oh, bring your parent. Like, I don't even want to talk to you. Bring your parent. I mean, she's old enough to explain herself, to tell them her side of the story. But it's so annoying when adults do that, like just dismissing the child. Like that doesn't do anything about the child's self-esteem. You have to let them be able to talk for themselves. Parents in K-dramas, totally just traumatizing all the kids. No wonder they're all messed up. And the ending, it's a back hug. Oh, I never imagined that we're gonna get something like this from someone like Seon-gyeom. It's like one of the things you always do in K-dramas. But it's just, it's so cute. And Seon-gyeom actually crying. Like, you can just see how much he actually loves Mi-joo and how much he misses her. And he asks her at the end, can't you just like me? And that's like a throwback to when she asked him, can you just like me? Like that scene. It's so cute. And that's the end to the episode. I hope that they're gonna get back together and just be fluff and happiness and rainbows everywhere. We have 3 episodes left. Like, let's use it. And please give us lots of kisses and hugs and happiness. Oh, please. So yeah, what did you think of episode 13? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments section below. And yeah, I'm super excited to do episode 14 as well. I've seen it, of course, because I'm impatient like that. But yes, I'm kind of sad that we only have 1 week left to run on. This drama means so much to me. And I'm just so sad that it's ending. I don't want it to end. Like sometimes I don't even want to do this because I feel like I would, like it's kind of like finishing and like I don't want it to end. But yeah, that's all I have to say today. I hope you guys have an awesome day and stay safe. Bye bye.